On today's video, TOMYRIS was announced. I told you guys yesterday on stream. Today there will be some information coming out, and there might be some more tomorrow or next week, but TOMYRIS is revealed. Edward is next. Both of them will be available in update 23, and now it's time to talk about her in more depth, answer a few common questions I've already gotten on my Discord about this image. Gave you guys a little bit of extra information, so stick around. If you guys like these kinds of videos, hit a like on the video. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today we're pretty much gonna look at this image and that's that, but here's the thing. We're gonna read through this and then I want to give you guys a small explanation about how these things work and talk about the potentials behind this. Also give you some information that isn't available on this image that you really should know about, and finally give you my personal opinion on this commander and what I'm planning to do, as I've been saving legendary commander sculptures for either TOMYRIS or Edward. And spoiler alert, I did see Edward already, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. Anyway, TOMYRIS. Here's the thing about TOMYRIS. She introduces something brand new into the game. She introduces poisoning. Poisoning is a brand new mechanic that can last for up to 5 seconds, and from there you can stack how many poison levels you have on your enemy. And so the main thing this commander brings into the game, in my opinion, is that new mechanic. Now, things are a little confusing in this image. Let's read through the skills first and then answer a few of the questions in there. So first skill is an active skill, Arrow of Vengeance. Rage requirement is 1000, deals direct damage factor of 700 to a single target. If this target is affected by poison effect, immediately remove poison and deals poison damage. Damage factor is stacks times 20. I'll explain that in a moment. If poison is multiplied by more than 10, increase poison damage by stacks times 20, which seems like the same. It should give you a small hint about a piece of information that is missing in this image that is very, very crucial. Payback is a passive skill. When attacking cities, increases normal attack damage by 10% and decreases counter attack damage by 10%. Remind you, she is an archer conquering attack commander, and so this is her conquering skill. I'm not a big fan of it because when you are hitting a city, especially if you're soloing a city, which technically you shouldn't be doing, even rallying a city, there are situations where a secondary or third army might come and try to hit the rally to try to kind of help out an alliance mate. And so now that people will see TOMYRIS in the mix, they'll know that the counter damage done by the rally will be lower, and so they could capitalize on this. So that's a skill I'm not 100% happy about, but it could be very interesting. For the Sun, a passive skill, increase attack of archer units by 10%, give all attacks a 10% chance to decrease the defense of a single target by 10% for 3 seconds. Okay. Now, Masajedi, whatever the heck, not counterattack. I don't know how you say that word. Passive skill. Gives all regular attacks a 50% chance to poison a single target for 5 seconds. The effect can be stacked up to 15 times, and the effect duration will reset to 5 seconds each new stack is added. Poison targets will take an additional 3% damage from skills. And finally, the expertise. Pouch of Blood is actually a new skill, a 5th skill, a passive skill. Increase normal attack and counter attack damage by 10% when attacked. Reduce attack of attackers' cavalry units by 10%. Now, let's break down a few things in here. We're going to start with the 4th skill because that one kind of starts things off and makes things a bit more interesting. You have a 50% chance of hitting a poison on a single target. Now, the most important line in this whole thing right here is this effect can be stacked up to 15 times, and the effect duration will be reset to 5 seconds each time a new stack is added. And so what this means is in 5 seconds, you have 5 different normal attacks in which you can potentially poison the enemy And so stack 1. And then you have 5 attacks to attempt to stack a second, stack a third, stack a fourth. It's kind of like flipping a coin every 5 times. And if 1 out of 5 hits heads, you get another 5 flips until you get 5 tails and it's over. And so the reason this is so important is because once you understand that, you can understand then the first skill, Arrows of Vengeance. Now, what it does is it's 700 damage factor plus up to another 200 because it stacks times 20. So once you get to 10, then it'll be 200. And if you get to 15, it's 300? No. One thing very important for you to know about this image is that all the skill numbers you're seeing are for level 1 of the skill, meaning it'll still grow up to 5 levels, obviously, and the numbers in here will grow as well. And so I'm not gonna be able to tell you exact numbers, but I can tell you that the damage factor, the poison factor in the numbers goes up, and when it comes to over 15%, over 15 stacks, over 10 stacks, I mean, it goes up a decent amount. It goes up really nicely. And so the direct damage factor goes up as well. And this commander can, with the perfect storm, meaning flipping the coin and getting a head every 5 times, at least 1 head for 15 times, well, for 11 times and further, all the way to 15, she can have, when her first skill is maxed out, the biggest direct damage factor in the game with the first skill. That is right. She will have the biggest damage factor in the game with the first skill. Very, very crucial. This also says that in 4th skill, the potential of the percentage of damage you take is going to grow, which is fantastic. Increased attack of archer units and all that will increase as well as decrease the defense of a single target, and so forth and so on. As every time you level up the skill, you get a little bit of extras. How much it is, I cannot talk about, nor do I know really about all the skills. I know about a couple of them, but still, that's a very, very, very important thing you need to understand about this commander. Now, where does this leave us? It leaves us with a commander that introduced a brand new mechanic, poisoning. It can potentially, once it's at a very high level, do substantial damage, the most direct damage factor in the game by one commander's skill. And on top of all this, she even gives us a 5th skill, which is dope. Now, the disadvantages here are that the first skill is pretty much going to be capped at a very low level, which would be level 5 direct damage factor only, until you manage to get to that 4th skill and open it up. This is actually the first time I can say that a commander is very much worth 5/1/1/1ing as a legendary. That's right. This is the first time I can say for 100% of a fact that 5/1/1/1ing this commander is gonna give you the best bang out of her skills. Why is that? Because the 4th skill activates a big part of the first skill, and not trying to spoil too much, right? Because I'll get in trouble. In the perfect storm, where you can max out the 15 stacks, you're gonna more than double the direct damage factor, the base direct damage factor. So 5/1/1/1ing this commander will actually be very, very, very good, but you really want to activate that 4th skill almost as soon as possible. What are the drawbacks of this commander? That 5/1/1/1 situation means that these skills right here are potentially not gonna get the best. You're not gonna get the best bang out of them for a very long period of time. As of right now, you'd be 5/1/1/1 every time you try to upgrade a skill. It's a coin toss between, well, not a coin toss, but it's a random generator between 1 and 3 of these three. And so you could end up in a situation where potentially you end up getting this to 5, this to 4, this to 4, and this stays at 1 or a 2. And so it is something to keep an eye on and to try to figure out better. Now, One last thing about this commander that I believe will completely change this game. Poisoning doesn't have a counter yet. Now, for the record, those of you thinking, oh, there will be equipment that will counter poisoning. No. Equipment is going to be kind of like a castle skin or like a buff. It'll buff stats. Skins will, the equipment will not mess and intervene with commander skills. Regardless, I do see the potential of there being a commander in the future with some AoE heal, meaning when he casts any of his alliance mates within a circle, get instantly healed from poisoning. Maybe. Although again, once that first arrow, once that first hit happens, poisoning effect is removed, right? So to get that perfect, insane like 15 times on the poisoning, you really want your enemy to silence you and to derage you. So this is a commander where if you are using commanders that are here to drop rage, that are silencers and stuff like that against her, it works in her favor as it gives her more and more time to get more of the multipliers before she casts the first active skill. And so she can actually be very interesting, because one of the most interesting pairings for archers right now is Herman and YSG. It's one of those. If you have a YSG and you don't have El Cid and stuff like that, some people use Herman and YSG. Herman is a silencer. And so that is a perfect fight against him because it works in her favor. Another small thing to think about, just, the ways this commander is really going to shift this game. And I believe she's going to shift a lot of things in this game because it's a new mechanic we haven't really seen in action yet. One final thought is Pouch of Blood. I'm loving this thing, although I would have really preferred this to be infantry over cavalry, but I understand the point of this skill and I think it's super cool. The whole point of increased normal attacks and counterattack damage by 10% when attacked, reduce the attack of the attacker's cavalry units by 10%. What this is it says if someone comes in to try to counter me, because cavalries counter archers, they're gonna have a much tougher time countering these archers. Now, we already know YSG is insanely overpowered, and he's probably part of the best commander pairings for almost anything. So now having her around as well with him could be insanely hard to counter. The same exact way Richard and Charles still beat archers almost all the time because of the OP-ness that is Richard's tankiness. And so now what you're saying is if anyone tries to counter the archers with TOMYRIS, he's not gonna let that slide. Final thought, I think I said that already, but one last final thought. Archer conquering attack. Archer conquering attack makes this very, very interesting because she's going here for increased normal attack, all regular attacks, increase attack, all attacks. And so this commander seems to be a commander that is really focused on something that we haven't seen enough. On buffing the regular troops so the damage you do every second, every turn in the fight is growing and growing and growing. As of right now, Rise of Kingdoms have really focused on more skill damage. The best commanders out there have the best skill damage and do the best amount of damage as skill casters. She is now saying, I want to buff the heck out of the troops, which is an awesome thing in my opinion, especially when you pair her with a YSG. And she does the work with the troops. He procs like crazy with his AoE 1700 direct damage, plus insane amount of extra damage to archers, plus insane amounts of everything. And all of a sudden, a YSG TOMYRIS full archer march is looking very deadly. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this commander in the comments down below. Let's play a game, chat. Let's play a game, guys. I want to get Lilith to release Edward fast. And so what I'm asking of you right now is a bit selfish of me. But I want you guys to go down below and hit that like button, right? Hit that like button like you never hit it before. And when Lilith wake up tomorrow and watch this video and get to this point and they're like, I wonder if they listened, and they'll look and see a crazy amount of likes, they'll know exactly what you guys want. So let's get that done. I'm Gekko, I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I appreciate everyone's feedback, everyone's kindness, everyone's support. Yesterday's stream was amazing. We had over 200 people watching the stream at all time. And one thing to mention, which I should have probably mentioned earlier on because most people are not here anymore, but those of you who are members of this channel did receive a little bit of an extra in the members exclusive Discord. So you want to make sure you hit that join button and become a member. Of course, you got to link your YouTube and Discord accounts. Very simple, very easy. And then you get into the members only lounge where a lot of nice little things happen. Anyway, I'm Gekko again. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.